All right, here we go. Um, Tim, first of all, it is such a pleasure to meet you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Madison?
I'm well as well. I am so excited to talk to you about your movie because it is so cool, especially to see all these behind the scenes things and everything that you went to get where you got to in your career. What persuaded you to create a film about your entire career and your experience within it?
Well, good old COVID-19. You remember that?
Just a little bit.
I was sitting around doing a bunch of restoration of a bunch of photos that I had, including the student film Cabbages and Kings that you see in our film, and a bunch of family stuff and other career things. And I started to realize, this story hasn't been told. And even with the Disney Imagineering things, a lot of that story hasn't been told. You get a bunch of corporate spin on Disney Plus, but you don't really get the sense of the work done in the trenches. So I thought that story needed to be told.
I'm glad you told it, especially because your title draws people in without even knowing what it's about. It's such a cool title. How did you come up with it?
But it wasn't, I actually searched for a while to get a title. Then I realized that for years when somebody asked me what I did, I said, I shovel pixie dust. And so, duh.
There you go. It was meant to be. You've worked on so many projects as the film showcases. Do you have any favorites that really stick near and dear to your heart?
Well, as shown in the Shoveling Pixie Dust film, one of my favorites is the Soren Fantastic Flight in Tokyo,
Mhm.
because we just had such fun doing that, and I got to help develop that whole pre-show. I work best when I'm allowed to take something good and make it better, or sometimes I would get brought in when something isn't quite working and I can help make it better, make it work, make it presentable. And those are the biggest thrills that I got.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest thrill I got while watching your film was the moment that you finally had the opportunity to finish your USC film. It was such a cool moment. What did that feel like for you when you were experiencing it?
I don't know, it was 45 years ago.
You don't remember?
uh, no, I actually don't. It was, I think I sort of felt it was inevitable. The film had to be done. I don't know why I felt that, but it had to be done.
Mhm.
And this man that I depict in the film, a guy named John Huber, I dealt with him not only at school, but at every facility I worked in that had an animation camera. He kept, like I said, kept the entire business working. And yet, when I went back years later to do research, and I just wanted a picture of him, and there was no record that he ever existed, much the same as many of the places that I worked. And when I happened on this one online video that had him helping a bunch of students take an Oxbury apart 20 years after he had retired, I was just delighted to actually have images of him. A guy named John Huber. He had a heavy German accent. He was a very quiet guy, but he made the industry work.
I want to talk a little bit about the industry. How do you think that the world of filmmaking changed over the course of your career?
Well, I was honored to be able to cross the line between the analog film world and the digital world.
Mm.
And that happened about mid-career for me. And it was an exciting time. I had always wished when I was young that the ability to tell stories visually could be as easy as as writers having paper to write on. That's pretty universal. And the technology to make films when I first started in the business was strictly for rich people. And now this film, Shoveling Pixie Dust, it's a feature motion picture, and it cost exactly zero. So the technology has come around to where artists and storytellers can tell their stories and not be encumbered by obligations to the people that hold the purse strings.
That is such a crazy concept to think about it in that sense. Where do you see the world of filmmaking now in today's day?
Well, I just watched a Hollywood blockbuster last night that was a good demonstration of just because you can doesn't mean you should. There are so many things that can be done digitally now. You can put anything you can possibly imagine and then some on the screen. And if your story is weak, it doesn't matter how many millions you spend on visual effects. You're still going to have a mediocre film.
Very fair. Going back to your film, was there any process of reaching out to former colleagues of yours besides the one that you were talking about earlier? And what did they think about you taking the story of what you guys do for a career and really telling the truth behind it and not just the corporate version that we've seen on Disney Plus?
I did try to reach out to several of my colleagues. They're hard to find. I
Are
just after I got the film done, I finally got a hold of Mike McAllister, the cameraman on Cabbage and Kings, and he had quite a career as a visual effects supervisor. Worked for ILM and did a lot of interesting things. So it was good to hear from him, but I was not able to get a hold of him beforehand. Likewise with some of the others, I still haven't got a hold of them, and I'm still in the process of getting hold of the actress that starred in Cabbages and Kings. She is still acting, still doing voiceover work and things like that, but I haven't got a chance to actually have a conversation with her.
It's very interesting. It's interesting to see how everyone moves on with their careers, but there's such like beautiful works that you guys have produced. And I really think that Shoveling Pixie Dust is one of those. So congratulations on your film.
Well, thank you so much for watching it. I'm surprised you gave 81 of your minutes to me. So
Of
thank you very much,
course. I
Madison.
thought it was so, I mean, the title alone drew me in. So I was like, oh, this is going to be the first one on my list for Santa Fe. I have to watch it.
Oh, good for you. Congratulations.
Well, congratulations
Pleasure.
to you.
I look forward to seeing it on the big screen in Santa Fe.
Me too. I will be there. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. Good to be here.
All right. I'll see you in Santa Fe.
All right. Bye,
Okay.
Madison.
Bye. Nice speaking to you.